Hey traders, Jason here from Leavitt Brothers. So there seems to be this growing belief that if you're stuck in some stocks that are down a bunch, you could just hold because they'll come back. The reason why this belief is kind of spreading out there on social media is because so many of today's winners have suffered large drawdowns in the past. The assumption is you just got to hold on, hang in there, everything will be fine in the long run. But I have some unfortunate news for you. The market always comes back, but not all individual stocks come back. You see, lots of traders look at Amazon and they note that it dropped 95% after the dot-com bubble popped, and it's obviously done really well since. It's become one of the largest and most successful companies in the history of the world. But that's Amazon. What are the odds that your entire portfolio is filled with Amazon type companies? Okay, even if a stock is fantastic, it still may not come back for many years. Microsoft topped in 2000 and fell really hard. Um, it then took 15 years to get back to break even. It took Qualcomm 19 years, IBM 10 years, Priceline 13 years, Adobe 13 years, Oracle it took 14 years. Okay, it took Cisco 2 decades to get back to break even, and that's only because they bought back their own stock. Their current market cap is still well below the 2000 high. Um, and there are many great companies that haven't recovered. GE is still more than 50% off its high. Yahoo went from like 200 billion market cap to being sold in the last couple of years for 4 billion, so it never recovered. AOL, same thing. I went to AOL.com just before I recorded this just to make sure it still existed because I wasn't sure. It's a fraction of its size. So most of the great companies from the 90s took 10 to 20 years to get back to break even, and many still haven't recovered. Okay, my point is the market will recover. Okay, I promise you this. I guarantee the S&P will hit a new high at some point in time. I don't know when, but it will happen. But individual stocks will not all recover. There'll be a couple Amazons out there, but more likely there'll be many Microsofts, which will take many years to recover, and there'll be many Yahoos that never recover. Okay, the market will recover, but many individual stocks will not recover. So what's going to lead the next bull market? Well, when the dot-com bubble burst and many super high-quality names imploded, they didn't come back. Okay, they didn't lead the next bull run. They led in the 90s, but they didn't lead in the 2000s. Instead, it was Netflix, which wasn't public at the time. It was Google, which wasn't public at the time, and Facebook, which went public a little bit later, and Domino's Pizza, and Tesla, which wasn't public, and Apple, which was a zombie company for many years when it came out with the iPod and started to move up. Okay, leadership will change. The companies that did great the last 2 years or 4 years or off the financial crisis low will not lead the next bull market. A couple will, but many will become the next IBM and be completely uninteresting stocks. Okay, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Even if a company is great, it may take 15 years to recover, or it may never recover.